Welcome to my eclectic kitchen. I'm Channon Mondoux and I'm here to talk about a really delicious, beautiful, edible flower garnish. And you can make them very easily. All you need are a few tools and some flowers. So what I want to talk about is the very simple way to do this. And it's been done for thousands and thousands of years. We have eaten flowers in various ways, whether that's straight out like eating lily bulbs, much as we do onions today, or they were used for their beauty. And in this case, we have some wild violets, some cherry blossoms from my tree in my yard, and some white violets that are really lovely, and we're going to candy these. The process is very simple. All you need is a little bit of egg white that's been beaten, some white granulated sugar, and a couple of small tools. One is a brush. You're going to take that egg white and you're going to be brushing it onto the petals, so you want a nice small brush. And then you could use some toothpicks. They'll help you to move the petals back and forth. A little pair of cuticle scissors are nice to trim things off. And a pair of tweezers is nice if you want to try and pick things up. What we're going to do is pick out a nice flower, and in this case I have a cute little violet here with a couple rolled up petals, but that's okay. This is a wild violet. It has 5 petals and doesn't have much of a stamen, so you don't have a lot to worry about there. But all you need to do is get a little bit of the egg white onto the surface of the flower. These are very tiny flowers. If you have ever seen violets, they are very small. These are edible. You can even eat the leaves. So now that I've got a good coating of egg white on my flower, I'm going to take some sugar, and a lot of times I've seen directions that say dip your flower into the sugar, and quite honestly I find that's too brutal for these tiny little petals. So I like to take a little teaspoon size spoon and gently shake some sugar over the top, making sure to get all the angles. So I'm going to turn it over, twist my arm around here, but you want to make sure to get it all over. The action of, I can see a spot that I missed, so I'm going to redo that. The action of sugar is, I believe the word is hydrostatic, and that means that it draws water away, which prevents things from going bad, because if bacteria doesn't have water, it can't live. And this is why the process of making jams and jellies, before they understood heating to seal, was a way to preserve fruits, because the sugar that was put into them would keep the water away from the bacteria, and as a result things wouldn't go bad. So here we have our first little tiny violet, and I'm going to show you how to do a cherry blossom. These cherry blossoms are the ones that I just chose off my tree. I wash things very carefully. I just take a little spritzer and spritz water on them, and then take a Q-tip and dry them off. And again, I've left some stem on there so I can hold on to it. And this is again a 5-petaled flower. It's a little bit larger and does have a little more of a stamen, so it'll be a totally different effect. And I like to start again on the top of the flower and brush very gently. I was very lucky that my blossoms have survived. There's been frost the last couple of days, and some of the blossoms had a yellow tinge to them, and that was because they were frostbitten. So when you're out picking flowers, you want to pick them that are in excellent shape, recently opened, with no major flaws, although I do like the variety of having different looking flowers. And that's the beauty of it. These are real. You know, if you don't have the special equipment to do flowers like you see on cakes in a bakery, this is a wonderful way to add an elegant touch to your desserts, cakes, cookies, and an excellent, beautiful way to have a garnish that's very, very unique. I really do like being able to do this sort of thing. As painstaking as it may be, it is a lot of fun. Sit around with a bunch of girls, or maybe have a glass of wine and sit there and candy flowers for your friend's wedding or special event that you're having. You can see that the flower petals do tend to droop a little bit from the weight of the sugar, and that's all right. Just be gentle with them. Make sure you get all areas covered. If you miss something, just go back, take a little bit of egg white, touch it up, and then add your sugar again. Really quite simple, but very elegant. And now I'm going to show you what we will do with them. Once you have your flowers dusted in sugar, you're going to use something to allow them to dry. And what I have is the top part of my dehydrator that has some venting on it. You can use a picture frame that has a piece of screen stretched over it, stapled down. You don't have to have fancy equipment to do things like this, but this is something that I have, so I'm going to use it. Now what I've done is taken my flowers and very carefully set them upside down onto my screen here. And I'm going to let those dry for 24 to 48 hours, depending on how large the flower is and how much sugar that you've put onto it. In this case, I already have some finished, and I'd like to show you how they turn out. What I did as well was something a little bit different. I actually took leaves from the violets and I candied these as well. So you can see this beautiful heart-shaped leaf, and they're completely edible. As a matter of fact, you can use wild violets in salads, which is an excellent start in the springtime to get some vitamin C and some vitamin A. And in this case, they're candied, so they're sweet and tasty in addition to being beautiful. And here is a finished violet, and I'm just going to set up a little scene here with some of these that are candied. I have my candied cherry blossom, which is very lovely. And you can see that just by stringing them along, you can make a beautiful garland. What we're going to do is take a couple of these flowers and make a beautiful presentation for you. Here we have a very simple piece of baklava. Baklava is not extremely colorful. It has a pretty, bland top, so we want to dress it up. And even if you have store-bought baklava, although you could be doing my Michigan cherry baklava that's in our article this month, you can dress it up with something like this that really only costs pennies to create, and yet is exquisite and unique, and you're gonna blow everybody's mind. So we have this very simple cherry baklava made with Michigan cherries and walnuts, and I'm going to just dress it up a little bit. So I have a flower that I'm going to trim the stem off of. The stems are not particularly tasty, so you can just trim those off and begin to set them on your dessert, and use a couple of leaves, maybe one or two. Not a whole lot. I mean, you don't want to make salad here. So here we go, adding a little bit of green. And let's see, how about this right here? There we go. All right, simple, beautiful, elegant. I'm Chef Shannon. Thanks for joining me in my eclectic kitchen. And don't forget, eat local, think global.